Who was the best Golden Age super? To answer this question, I've created 3 levels. Not a chance, maybe, and hell yeah. Not a chance are heroes that would never be considered the best by a long shot. They don't have the ability, skill, or intelligence to fulfill their regular roles properly, much less to hold up this mantle. Golden Age supers in this category are Phalange, Stormicide, Psychwave, Thunderhead, Universal Man, Gamma Jack, and Hypershock. Phalange is kinda self-explanatory. His abilities does not give him any edge in any fight. Having the lame-ass ability to project his voice, this is only useful in very niche situations. A lot like Stormicide, who is slightly more useful than he is since she can control vapors, which allows her to remove oxygen from flames and put out fires. Come to think of it, what if Stormicide can also remove the oxygen from the air or from someone's lungs? That would make her one of the most deadly heroes to exist. And she can also emit vapors from her hands and mimic flight. Unfortunately, she's not very strong, or is she super smart, so she's staying in this level. Psychwave is super powerful. Being a telepath grants her the ability to control people, and she can also possess them. However, this ability leaves her body vulnerable. While Psychwave maxed out her ability and intelligence stats, she lacks everything else, limiting her reach by a lot, leaving her in this tier. The same kinda goes for Everseer, even though he claims that he can do everything else that a strong super does.
I can mix it up. Oh, I can fight with the rest of them. I can knock 3 people through walls if I have to. But why do that when through the process of the mind, you can avert?
I think he was just talking trash because he didn't want to admit that his abilities are very limited. Broken, but limited, which might seem like an oxymoron. But he can see everything, from microscopic germs on the ground to your future. But this type of power doesn't help if you lack the necessary capabilities to use it. For example, he sees into the future that Mr. Incredible is about to punch him. Mr. Incredible, who is very fast and pretty agile, not to mention strong. In that exact moment, Everseer will not be able to react or even stop this from happening. Thunderhead, on the other hand, could do a better job being the powerhouse that he was. He had a great power type, being able to command storms at will, very good endurance, and he was relatively strong, but he wasn't a very balanced hero, lacking agility, intelligence, and durability, which is essential when crafting a perfect hero. Hypershock is something of a powerhouse as well, being able to create seismic waves. His ability could give him a lot of range, and he's strong too, which could give him the edge in a hand-to-hand combat fight. Hypershock is not all that bright though, plus he had a major drinking problem, and I can see how that would be a problem because you never know when evil might break loose, and chances are when it does, he's not in the proper mindset to face crime.
You know, I could be out solving crime at the very least. We're solving this hangover. Ow! Oh.
Universal Man was this universe's definition of a tank, being almost indestructible due to his ability to shift his body's density, but he lacked in every other department, not being strong, agile, or even smart. His mental health wasn't the best either, since he struggled with his identity, which many believe was the reason for his untimely demise. Universal Man was definitely powerful, or had a lot of potential to be powerful, but his low intelligence sets him back a whole lot. One hero you're probably gonna be upset with for being here is Gamma Jack. Gamma Jack has radiation powers and is the 2nd strongest hero next to Mr. Incredible. While he has a broken power type, above average intelligence, and decent strength, his endurance and durability is lacking by a lot. And there are a lot of things that makes a great hero, and agility and durability is one of them. Along with that, Gamma Jack's mindset puts the people he rescued in great danger since he mainly prioritizes saving female victims. And if the villain is a woman, it's gonna take a longer time to take them down. His mindset alone makes it impossible for Guna Jack to be considered the best. However, the maybes could possibly be among the greats. These heroes are versatile and possess a very good power type, but they lack the balance that sets heroes apart. That or they have a really bad trade-off. You'll find a great amount of supers in this level. Heroes like Apogee, Blast Zone, Downburst, Dynaguy, Stratagale, and Splashdown. Apogee has very exceptional abilities, being able to control gravity through solar energy. This grants her a kind of telekinesis. Paired with her high intelligence and endurance, Apogee could be the best person, but with a below 50% strength level and agility, paired with her dependence on solar energy, Apogee falls short of being the greatest. To be honest, having gravity control should make her a bit more agile, but Hey, Blast Zone, however, is a bit more balanced, but she's really just average. Her ability is pyrokinesis, but she has a very bad temper, which could most definitely affect her judgment in battle. Like, she would easily fall for the rage bait. She's also weak to water and cold temperatures, which is very easy for any villain to exploit, so anyone with a bottle of water would be able to take her down. Dome Burst ability alone should place him higher, having the ability to manipulate atoms and reshape matter, but he lacks severely in strength, indestructibility, and most importantly, intelligence, which in my opinion is very important when you're thinking about a very good hero, but overall for his skill set, intelligence is important. With such a broken ability, he should be placed higher, but his inability to use his abilities to their full potential holds him back by a lot. Very similar to Downburst is Dynaguy, being able to disrupt atoms and disintegrate anything, but his power trade-off is pretty bad since he has to be within a 5-meter radius to use his ability, paired with his low indestructibility, meaning his ability needs to be in close range to be used, but he's not built for close combat. So a simple left-right goodnight would put him out of commission if he misses a shot or if his opponent can counter his attack. Stratogale is somewhat of an enigma. I can never understand how a hero has super strength but low durability. Anyways, Stratogale can fly at subsonic speed, speak to birds, and she has super strength, but her durability is low. Like, how does that even work? If she punches a wall, would her hand break as well as the wall, or would her hand alone break? Someone explain this in the comments for me. Anyways, for obvious reasons, Stratogale stays in this level. She's just as smart as Mr. Incredible, but her low invulnerability sets her back by a lot. The same goes for Splashdown, who's basically the Aquaman of the Incredible Universe, having the ability to breathe underwater, talk to sea creatures, fly, super strength, and move at super speed underwater. However, Splashdown's invulnerability is dookie, which is a shame because he's almost one of the most balanced heroes in this tier. But Splashdown splashes us in the next level.
Hell yeah!
These heroes have what it takes. They could most definitely be considered the best Golden Age superheroes. But of course, there can only be one best hero. But these guys has everything it takes, but fall short necessarily because they're not good, but because the number one is just better. Heroes in this tier is Metaman, Frozone, Plasma Bolt, Mr. Incredible, Geyser Beam, and Macro Burst. Geyser Beam is among the greats. Being friends with Mr. Incredible, he had a pretty good power type, very good endurance and intelligence. His strength wasn't that great, but he was good. However, his agility and indestructibility is low. Geyser Beam's novelty doesn't lie within his strength and invulnerability though. It lies within his tactical geniusness and mastery of his abilities. He was known as the leader of our superhero group called the Thrilling Three. Because of his calm and collected nature, he was able to lead the team effectively. And I'm gonna use effectively very loosely here.
And then anytime you take individuals and you put them in a contained environment, they tend to react like oil and water sometimes, or...
We can't overlook how inefficient he might be physically though, so he's nowhere near to being the best. Plasma Bolt, however, is a hero we don't hear much about, but look at these stats, man. Like, holy crap, man, she's just stacked. She has plasma wave emissions, which is basically electrokinesis. I imagine her being similar to Static Shock, but along with her OP powers, she's agile, very durable, very smart, and has decent strength and endurance. If I'm being completely honest, with this stats, I'd put her in the top, but we don't know much about her personality or her feats since her NSA files didn't reveal anything. But she is stacked stats wise. And the same goes for Macroburst, who had high velocity wind generation. Their stats are something to marvel at, with the only thing lacking is strength. But with the combination of everything else, Macroburst would be able to compensate for their lack of super strength. Unfortunately, we didn't get much from the NSA files. Neither did we get for Metaman, who's basically the same. He's very vulnerable and dumb. Which brings us to Mr. Incredible and Frozone. Frozone is the definition of swag, being the coldest cat in the NSA with his ice generation abilities. Frozone is able to neutralize almost any threat with minimal casualties. Paired with his very high intelligence and agility, Frozone is able to make quick and effective decisions in the heat of battle. Unfortunately, Frozone's weakness is heat and low humidity, which can be easily manipulated by the villains he faces. So he's not quite on the top, but he is pretty good. Very similar to Mr. Incredible, Bob is without a doubt the strongest Golden Age superhero, almost maxing out all his stats. Bob towers over his companions when it comes to raw potential, but he has a few things holding him back. Bob is very egotistical, self-centered, and destructive. These are traits that don't go so well when it comes to saving lives. Not saying he would intentionally risk someone's lives because of these factors, but it could happen regardless. Bob isn't as balanced as he should be either, being a very good tank and an even better powerhouse, but his capabilities when it comes to stopping things from happening with minimal damage is very low. The first scene of the Incredibles movie demonstrated this perfectly, because within the span of like 5 minutes, like 5 different accidents happens because Bob's method was a little bit too brutish, which would not have happened with Elastigirl.
I know what kind of man you are.
Now hear me out. Elastigirl is the perfect hero for 2 reasons: versatility and effectiveness. She can perform effectively when it comes to taking down villains, and she's also great for search and rescue. Helen was able to infiltrate Syndrome's island, save her kids with quick thinking, stop a train, figure out the true identity of the screenslaver, and she also clutched the Underminer's drill from destroying the city. Her abilities might not be the best, but her intelligence allows her to maximize all the other factions. Not to mention, her go-getter, reliable and humble personality will always put her above the rest because she's good at doing the job without praise. Elastigirl fits perfect in my very own THOR rating system for Prime Heroes, but if you'd like to know more about that, click this video here.